Mark Rogers TV, restructuring college football as we take you conference to conference to conference, and we keep referring to not the Power 5, but the Power 6, and you get the full disclosure here with our final conference preview. So you need to check out the introductory video if you haven't, and you'll see how the plan that we've unfolded here makes total sense for college football. Better conferences, more equity across the board, 12 and 13 team conferences, all playing 9-game seasons within the conference. Equity to scheduling, which we'll touch upon concerning this particular conference in just a second, and a new and revised playoff system that is much better than what we currently have, which is better than what we had before in the BCS. All right, welcome to the new, the old, the Big East. Yes, we've got another Big East in play, and the Big East used to drive me crazy when the Big East, by far the inferior conference compared to the other Power 5, was included in the BCS structure. I hated it. Well, this Big East is going to be playing basically on par with the other conferences. We've bulked it up. Welcome to the new Big East. In the North Division, we've got Penn State from the Big Ten, Boston College, Syracuse, and Pitt from the ACC. We've got Connecticut and Temple coming in from the American Conference. In the Southern Division, we pluck West Virginia out of the Big 12 where they don't belong. We've got Maryland, Rutgers coming from the Big 10, Louisville from the ACC, Army and Navy come in as well. So what you have here is we have reestablished a number of rivalries across college football, and a number of them right here in the Big East. So old college football fans, those of you who watched college football back in the 70s and 80s and possibly before that, you remember a number of rivalries that we have reunited here. Penn State, Boston College used to be a nice rivalry. Penn State, Maryland. Some of the ACC rivalries that have moved from the Northeast, meaning Boston College, Syracuse, and Pitt in particular. We've got Army and Navy together in this conference, and it's a good-looking conference. And, of course, we have reunited Pitt and Penn State as well. It's a good-looking conference, and this is how the scheduling would go. So we've talked about this in previous editions. We're going to balance the scheduling. So it's crazy that Baylor goes out, for example, and plays no one, and a Florida this season in particular plays Florida State and Michigan. Florida State is playing Alabama and Florida. So the balance is completely out of whack. So what we are doing is, since we've got 9 conference games, we've got 3 out-of-conference games. Therefore, we're allowing each school to go out and schedule one opponent, FCS team, group of 5 team, whatever. But the other 2 games are controlled by the Mark Rogers TV College Football Playoff Committee and Scheduling Committee in particular. So we've taken it out of the hands of the schools. They should not be scheduling their own games. And think about this, college football fans. College football's out of the news, off the sporting landscape from the end of spring practice for sure until the opening of camp, or at least the media days at the end of July. On May 1st, each and every season, we will announce the college football schedule for the next season, a la what the NFL does when they release its schedule and everybody's all aglow and talking about the NFL schedule for the coming season. We will do that in college football and make May 1st the schedule announcement and put college football at the forefront of the sports talk for a day or two. Okay, for this particular season, this is just an example. Let's say as we match up conferences, a la the NFL, where the NFC North may play the AFC West in any given year, and then the leagues rotate, the conferences rotate what divisions each division plays. Out of conference, we do the same here for one of the games, one of the out-of-conference games that we're discussing. So in this particular year, let's say the Big East is matched up against the SEC. So Penn State's going to play LSU. They don't have to play LSU, but there's a system here where LSU finished 5-3 in the SEC last season. So the other opponent that Penn State is going to be matched up against is going to balance that 5-3 LSU record with a 3-5 record or what will be 9 games in my system, to play a composite 500 schedule. Everyone is going to play a composite 500 schedule against the other power conferences. So for Penn State, let's say it's LSU, who went 5-3 last year, Cal, who went 3-6. I know that doesn't add up to 500, but again, everyone will play a 9-game season. So after the first season under my system, then we'll be able to get it to exactly 500 for everyone. Boston College plays Vandy out of the SEC at 3-5, so we've got to give them a better opponent to even it out. Stanford, let's say, 6-3 last season. Syracuse is going to play Auburn, who went 5-3 in the SEC last season, so let's give them TCU, a 4-5 team in the Big 12. Pitt, let's match them up against Ole Miss, for example. And again, they don't have to be matched up against Ole Miss, but we're going to create equity across the board. And in our final segment, we're going to build an entire schedule. All right, Pitt, we're putting against Ole Miss. The Rebels went 2-6 last year, so let's give them Virginia Tech, a 6-2 team. All right, that's the look at the Big East. Again, it's a North Division, it's a South Division. We've got Penn State in the mix with Pitt. We've got West Virginia reunited with Pitt. They will play each season. Boston College, Syracuse. There's some strength there with Louisville as well. And Army and Navy give it a bit of esprit de corps as well for the Big East. Those are my thoughts on our new Power 6 conference, or an old Power 5 conference. Always want to hear your comments as well, right here on Mark Rogers TV.